Hey guys, welcome to Wholesale Hotline. We're skipping the intro today because I wanted to show you guys seeing the Top Gun, Mr. Maverick himself, signing a deal live right now. What is the name of this notary?
That's right.
Point the microphone to this lady. Let's talk to her.
Hi.
Okay, tell us your name.
My name is Lucero.
Okay, so tell me, as a notary, I always ask my notaries this question. What's been going on in the market the last couple of weeks? Have you noticed a slowdown on refis?
Yes, a big enormous of slowdown. You won't see a lot of purchasing or a lot of refinancing at the moment. It's all selling.
So guys, I'm going to give you one of the greatest tips of all time. If you're trying to start a YouTube channel or a TikTok channel or something like that, jump in and interview notaries, because notaries are in the field every single day. So how many signings did you have today?
I had a handful. I had 5 signings so far.
5 signings so far. How many more do you have?
All over town.
Yeah.
All over town. And nothing compared to last year, which was my top signing number was 13 loan signings. And those are loan signings. So they take about an hour.
Like real purchases, or were these refinances?
They were purchases contracts, whether if they were in a conventional loan or if they were in an FHA loan.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you working with a lot of title companies that are working with investors, or more traditional, or it's both?
It's both. It's both, because last year there was the FHA loan, which was the first-time home buyers giving the assistance to provide to purchase a property for the first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of qualification for those, a lot of VA loans. In this moment, there's going to be a lot of sellers. Sell price, it's cash purchase.
Yeah.
To the sellers that are selling now.
Right.
Yes.
So a lot more cash purchases.
Yes.
Than getting loans.
Correct.
Really?
And sellers, a lot of sellers as right now.
Brent, tilt your microphones to your faces. Tilt the microphones to your faces. We're not picking you up too strong.
Here we go. Sorry. So if there's a seller, there has to be a buyer, right?
Correct.
And you're saying they're cash buyers?
There's cash buyers.
And so are these cash buyers investors, or these cash buyers that are getting like short-term cash loans so that they can get their offer accepted on the market?
Yes, it's investors. More than likely
more
investors. Yes, more investors. More coming down with the
so a lot of hedge funds, you think?
Number.
What's that?
A lot of hedge funds?
Hedge funds? Are you working with hedge funds?
No, I'm not working with hedge funds.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, we'll let you get home.
Good to see you again.
All right.
Brent, tell me about the deal. What did you just sign?
Yeah, we locked up a deal. This is a Jamili deal. This is a referral from a good family friend, Rob Euphemia. He had a home that it was somebody that he knew. He's a real estate agent on the side, and it was somebody that they knew, the family knew, and the house had just been a hoarder house. It had been vacant for a while, and so the family was finally ready to get rid of it. And we locked it up for, I think, $220, and I think on there, what's the $279? $279.9. So $220, $279.9.
Well done. How are you?
So what you're saying is you just made $59,900?
59, yeah, net 59.
That's how much Brent makes an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
$59,000 an hour.
Thank you. You're a trooper. That's awesome,
guys. I mean, do you get when you watch somebody signing a deal on Wholesale Hotline? Do you feel like you're in the right place? You're in the right place.
Turn that up.
Oh, the A.
Yeah.
Shut the door, it'll get nice.
Okay.
Jamil's number one concern when stepping into a room is the air conditioning at 52 degrees.
Me too, man.
Bro,
me too. I run it like so.
I mean, it is hot as balls in Arizona right now.
Yeah, it's getting warm.
What is happening?
There we go. So yeah, it was a good deal, Pace. It was smoking deal. I mean, buying a single family house right now for $279 in kind of Northwest Phoenix. It's a good deal.
Very well done.
It's a good deal.
Good job.
Yep.
Good job.
So what we do there, Pace, is if it's a bigger deal, or if it's the owner wants to get paid really quick. I think we locked this up 2 weeks ago. We're going to just go ahead and close it and then resell it. So we actually closed it last week and then sold it, and they're closing this week, which is great. Usually we align those up pretty close, but the buyer that we had backed out, gave us the 5,000 earnest. So actually add 5,000 on top of that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what was the reason that the buyer backed out?
I think they just didn't run their numbers. I don't know.
Oh, they didn't give you.
It's somebody we all know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And was you expecting this, or was it a surprise?
I have warned. Yep.
Okay, so a repeat offender.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody that likes locking up a lot of deals and sells some of them and gives a lot of earnest money away.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Good. Good.
So I'm gonna ring the bell for myself. Here we
Ring
go.
the bell.
Yeah, please. This will
Here
be a wholesale hotline first.
Well,
Thank you,
I
Jamil,
kind of feel like
reminding us.
Jamil
That's
should be. I feel like Jamil should be ringing that because it's like
I know
pouring.
it's like it was a little bit of a.
It's like
for him
pouring
to
your
ring
own
it for
sake.
himself, he deserves somebody else to ring it for him.
If you
Yeah,
can't ring
Jamil,
your
Jamil,
Bring it back.
Jamil. If you and I went to a restaurant, would you pour your own sake?
No,
Then you
Yeah,
don't
or
ring your
somebody
own bell.
else's. Yep.
Brent,
Yes.
this one's for you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Wholesale hotline, baby.
Great to start. 121. We're talking about putting together the purchase agreements here. Pace has got it fired up so we can actually look at it as we go through it. But I think it's really important to understand this. I think that we've all done deals very sloppily in the beginning with the verbiage that we put into our contracts, and yet we still got the deals done.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Now, we can help clean up a lot of that, but the point is don't stop yourself from committing to a really good deal or finding a really good opportunity because you don't really feel comfortable or that experienced with the purchase agreement, right?
Yeah, yeah. And, again, guys, the reason why we give away contracts, why if you come to my social media, you can, DM me on IG. I give away contracts. I know Pace also will help people with contracts. Brent also gives away a contract. The reason we do this, guys, is so that you have access to documents that we have gone and spent money having to create, right? So my team has spent tens of thousands of dollars on our purchase and sale agreement, on our option agreement. And so it's important that you have access to really good documents and let us do the heavy lifting for you, right? So you can use these, but it's also important to understand where in those documents you could get burnt, where in those documents you need to be aware so that you don't lose earnest money, so that you remain compliant and you don't breach the contract.
There you go.
All right. So this contract that we'll go through, it's only 3 pages. It's very simple. It's a wholesale contract. So if people want us to go through it, I want to see something in the comments. You guys want us to pull this up? Give me some comments on the side. Give me a yes. Give me a TTP. Give me an Astro. Give me something in the side, and we'll actually go through this contract today. So Brent.
Yeah.
You made $59,000 of that deal.
64 technically because we took the first buyer's earnest money, but yeah.
What does that mean?
It was interesting because we originally had, they committed 5,000 non-refundable earnest, and they were supposed to close on time, but decided that they weren't going to close, and just gave us the earnest money because they were out of town on the other side of the country.
Oh,
yeah.
I got it.
So,
bro, like, what's the business strategy of putting $5,000 non-refundable up and then letting it go?
I think if you do it enough, you and you have a big enough buyer's base that you can sell a lot of deals, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't, maybe you just didn't get it out in time, or maybe you just kind of forgot about it or whatever else, and it didn't get pushed out in time, and so they were supposed to close. They forgot about the deal, and so they gave up the earnest money instead of trying to scramble.
Why not close it? Did they not believe in the deal, or they weren't interested in actually buying it? Or
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very rare. It's very rare. And it's something that I'm watching because we had another one cancel yesterday, actually this morning, because they said that their construction crews were too backed up. And it was somebody that we've sold a lot of deals to, an actual fix and flipper in town in a good area in 85032. And they ended up not closing. So we got the earnest money there and put it back out. And Jeremy's already got it resold. But it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Pain in the ass. And then also it gets your timing off. You now have to, if you have to close the deal, you might have to close it.
I've had to close both of them.
And then that costs you money because you incur closing costs on your buy. Although you are compensated for the earnest deposit. So it is a net positive to you. But if you weren't aware that you had to come out of pocket. Well, Brent has millions of dollars. If you shake Brent, $1 million comes out of his pockets. So, it's not like he's ever got to deal with the cash flow issues, but
we close on him. And I think that's important, when you've got a really good deal and you don't want anything to like throw it off.
Right.
And what I say is like anything over 50,000, typically it just depends. If we assign it to somebody that we really know is going to get it done, then we're cool. And we'll assign most of them. But we've been doing these bigger deals where we're just closing on it. We don't want anything stopping us from making the profit. So we just close on it and get it done. And it turns into a traditional flip more than a wholesale. Yeah. I prefer to wholesale it. But
I've got a question for you with regards to that, because you're closing. For instance, we just closed and funded on one the other day.
Yeah.
Great deal.
Yeah.
Out in Gilbert, Arizona. Stucco tile. So it's a newer construction, 2000 build. ARV on it is $740,000.
Yep.
We bought it for $550.
Love it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great spread.
How big?
There. 2,900 square feet.
Okay. Yep.
2-story with 3-car garage and a pool.
Yep.
Backing a greenbelt. So anyways, we have this incredible deal, but now here's what happened. Another situation. We sold it. We wholesaled it. We ended up getting $634,900 for it.
Love it.
So great.
Big deal.
Big wholesale
Massive deal.
$85,000 wholesale fee.
Love it.
Our buyer backed out last minute.
Yep.
And so now we have to resell it. But because we closed on it at the $550, we're now running into buyers giving us grief because they know what we've paid for it.
Sure.
And so now they're getting less inclined to want to give us the fee, and we might actually end up only making $50,000 on it instead of $85,000 because that recorded sales price or our purchase price is just smacking everybody in the face when we send the deal out. How do you get around that, Brent?
I don't know if we are.
Yeah.
I think it's case by case. Yeah. I mean, we haven't had a problem because we've had backups on all of them.
Yep.
And so people still want the deal and they're chomping at the bit. And I think that's what happens when you create a feeding frenzy. So that helps.
Right.
But yeah, going back at them after somebody canceled, they go, and everybody in every investor's mind, they're going, wait a second, is there something wrong with this deal?
Yes.
Did I do my numbers wrong? What happened here? And so there's a lot of communication that explains why somebody backed out of a deal or what happened. You know what I mean? And I think people are just kind of we're in kind of a turbulent time where people are really making sure that they're not going over their skis too much with the projects because they don't know what's going to go on with interest rates. They don't know what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. They don't know what's going on with oil. They don't know what's going on with all these things. And the media just fans that flame. And so people make some interesting decisions. But all in all, we've sold them all. We haven't had a problem with any of the deals. It's just taken longer than it usually.
Yeah.
And it's just this month. I don't know. As soon as it gets hot here, everybody that has wealth is gone.
Right.
So it's like you have to over communicate in the summertime here in Phoenix to sell your deals because everybody's kind of not in their usual routine of hanging out at their house.
Right. Right.
Do you see that at all?
I do. I noticed another thing is just recently, last week was a little bit of a funny week for sales.
Yeah.
Because again, the week before last week was a little bit of a softer week for sales, but then just as of today, what's the date today is the 6th, right? Look at this. Our sales started spiking again, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look here, just as of today, we're at 14 transactions, the 6th.
Love it.
We're at 14 transactions.
Yep.
And, with an average deal size of $17,000 per deal. And look at the number of sales that have happened. So
is this Slack?
This is Slack.
How important is this to you?
Oh, it's the arteries of our entire business.
That communicate. Everybody communicates.
How we all communicate.
And the reports that you run, how important are those?
They're very important because it tells us what's happening.
Right.
What I was trying to say here, guys, is that 2 weeks ago when interest rates first spiked, we did have some, pause.
Yeah.
But the wholesale buyers, the fix and flip buyers have been coming back to the table rapidly because interest rates started dropping again.
I know. It's listen, we can't control any of it. So just take action.
Take action.
Just keep building up your pipeline of opportunities and you win. So
Pace, you got a bunch of flips on the market. What are you seeing?
Slowdown and less offers, still selling in their first week, but a lot less offers. And buyers are now starting to be a little daring. Their agents are starting to say, hey, be a little daring and ask for some repairs, come in a little bit under list. Of course, we're not looking at those offers, but we are definitely getting offers now starting to ask for more stuff. I think that will continue, and it will ultimately get to a point by the end of the year that I think it'll stabilize a little bit. Our houses are still selling like super quick and still over list, but it's a lot less offers. And you heard the notary. What'd the notary say?
Yeah, cash buyers, cash purchases. I just wonder if she
felt confused.
Well, no, I mean the title companies hire certain notaries, right?
Yes.
So the Great American that we work with, they're like all investors.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? That might throw it off a little bit.
She was
Yeah.
She wasn't really understanding the.
But when there is any kind of government program to help with first-time home buyers, there's always a spike.
Right.
Always a spike, which is what happened. So anyway, Brandy, first time on Wholesale Hotline. Yeah, you posted here's the whole point of the show is to squad up, Brandy. Let everybody know where you live, where you do business, what you're excited about, what your strategy is. And so that you can start connecting and start building up that JV partnership, or maybe it's just an accountability buddy, or it's somebody that's going to just be a positive influence in your life and understands what you're doing with your professional life, going out there and finding discounted properties, because you're going to talk to a lot of people in your friends and family and loved ones that are going to have no idea what you're talking about when you say that you are interested and focused and determined to wholesale real estate. So make sure you surround yourself with people that understand what you're doing, because they're doing it as well.
All right, couple things.
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, thank you for the sub 2 challenge.
No, I was gonna say, we had some people question whether the secret agent challenge was starting today or Wednesdays. Guys, it's starting on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific. Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific. If you still haven't registered, Emily's gonna put that in the chat right now. You can get
Jamil, tell people won't sign up for a challenge unless they know what they're going to get from it. What am I going to get from it? What's the skill I'm going to learn? What support am I going to get? How long does it go? Give me a rundown. Give me the elevator pitch. Let's go.
I love it, Pace. So what this challenge will do is teach you how to have quality conversation with real estate agents so that you can build relationships with these agents and find great opportunities from them. So either fix and flip deals, buy and hold deals. We're going to teach you how to do agent outreach so that instead of cold calling homeowners, you can actually go to the source of where many, many deals come from and get those deals directly from real estate agents. That's the same strategy that I built Keegley off of. It's the same strategy that hundreds, if not thousands of Astro flipping students are getting massive success from. And to add to that, we're adding on Dan Quijano from the sub 2 community to also come in and teach people how to pitch agent on terms. So if you are trying to get your hands on an opportunity subject to or owner finance, and you don't know how to have that conversation with a realtor, Daniel Quijano is going to show you how to do that during the challenge as well. So you're going to get the language, how we are approaching agents in this new market condition, how we are getting these opportunities under contract, how we are getting them to send us those deals before they get listed on the MLS so that we can wholesale them for massive thousands and upon thousands of dollars worth of assignment fees.
How much is it?
The challenge is free.
What?
Absolutely free.
That's crazy.
It's not free. It's not free to you. I just got off a phone call with you. You'll probably spend a good $4 or $5 grand running a free challenge for everybody.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. It does cost.
By the way, Daniel is phenomenal.
He's incredible.
You do not want to miss it, guys. This is a no-brainer. If they sign up, is there a replay? Is there not a replay, or do they have to watch it live?
It is live, and if you sign up, you will get access to a replay. But only once. But only once.
You
after
watch
that,
it once?
we are going to be restricting it after that. So guys, make sure you show up and make sure you take notes.
Awesome. Let me ask you this, Jamil. Have you ever kind of put together like what the lifetime value of an agent in your database, like somebody that's going to refer you deals time and time again? Obviously, we have the outlier. Let's take Monique out of there, right? Let's just take an average, because I like I like chunking this thing down, because it's typically 300 conversations to get one agent that's like on your squad, right? And so that's typically about 30 hours. Let's call it 10 agents an hour.
Once we get a deal from a realtor and we perform and the deal goes the way it should go,
right?
Typically, we're seeing a deal a quarter.
Okay, so that's 4 deals out of one agent.
Yep.
And the deal size on average, let's call it 15.
Yep.
Okay, so 60,000 each agent.
Correct.
So you need 10 agents to make $600,000.
That's it.
You need to talk to 3,000, which will take you 300 hours.
Yep.
But if you look at that by a week, that's talking 6 hours a week of making calls 5 days a week, right? To do 600,000.
You can look, for instance, Michelle and Paul, right? They work on average 3 to 4 hours a day.
Right.
Right. Now that's some of that time is spent doing outreach. Some of that time is doing transaction coordinating. Some of that time is talking to buyers. They live virtually. Yeah. They have no home. They're just out in the world living wherever they want.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, they were able to generate $500,000 in income.
Bro, you know Billy Bell, my old disposition manager.
Yes.
He's been in Croatia doing deals. He's been in Colombia doing deals. All he does is reach out to real estate agents in Boise, Idaho.
There you go.
Literally. They're in Phoenix, and that's all he's done since Jeremy's took over Dispo for my company about 2 years ago. And I mean, he's right there at almost $1 million a year.
Incredible.
Like living the life. I mean, the dude's living. He's traveling. He's on a sailboat. 3 months out of the year. Crazy. Guys, you need to jump on this. Make sure that you join the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0 Wednesday. What time?
8 a.m.
Pacific.
Awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Pace, you want to crack open that contract?
I'd love to.
Let's go.
Hey,
all right, guys. So we have
a setup it right now.
Looks good.
Yeah, your mom set it up for me. Pretty good.
Got him.
All right, so we've got an attorney, everybody. We've had him on here multiple times. His name is Sean St. Clair. So if you guys want to get to know who Sean St. Clair is, the gentleman who drafts all of my contracts and has helped out quite a bit, type in Sean St. Clair on YouTube, Wholesale Hotline, Sean St. Clair. You guys will find multiple episodes we've had this handsome guy on. So let's pull it up. Let's do a little screen share. I'm going to drop it in here so you guys can all read it. We're going to go through it. It's going to be amazing.
By the way, just to hit that, did you see Alex Hermosi's post on Twitter today that just went bananas? Said, make your free content better than everybody else's paid.
Yeah, I retweeted and I said, me AF.
Yep.
All right.
Somebody quickly asked in there, hey, is it better to talk to brokers than agents? Absolutely not. Brokers aren't going to do shit for you.
Why not?
Because they're broke.
Yeah, well, what they want to know is, would they be hacking system by going to the broker and hopefully the broker would disseminate the information to the agents? It doesn't work that way.
Guys, you have to understand, real estate agents are independent contractors. They have to hang their license with somebody because that's just the way that it's set up. But they're independent contractors. Yeah. Nobody's giving them income. Nobody's giving them a paycheck. Nobody's giving them guarantee, income. They have to go out and get it themselves. So they're independent contractors. They're 1099.
Let's see this contract.
All right, so let's go through it. So this is it says it's a 5-page contract, but that's a misnomer. The 5th page is blank, just in case you need to write additional details. And the 4th page is literally just the signatures, okay? So really, it's just a 3-page contract. It's very simple. And this is for cash deals only. This is not for seller finance, not for subject to. It's not for lease options. It's not for novations. This is a cash transaction only, okay? So let's go through it really quick. These are the things that are very important. Purchase contract. This also can work anywhere in the country. So I'm going to give you guys this little link. I almost feel like I should only give this contract to people who sign up for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0.
Up to you, brother.
That's what I should do.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Okay. This is a contract that the sub 2 students use. We've changed this multiple times. You guys will see some really cool things that we've added in here. So property address. Okay. Jamil, how often do you guys see a contract where the property address is spelled incorrectly or screwed up or incomplete that you guys got to fix, or you don't know the zip code or something along those lines?
Very often. Very often.
So what is an APN and where can I find it? Does anybody know that?
Tax assessor number.
Yeah. It's a parcel number.
The assessor parcel number is what APN stands for. It's basically the tax ID for that property. Remember this, guys, no matter how much of a baller real estate investor you are, you're not even close to the states. All right. Because you got to rent those houses from the state. It's called property taxes. Okay. You don't truly own this land in this country unless it's unincorporated. You own what the state allows you to own. Okay. And that's property taxes. And it's a good way to make sure that even if the address might not be right, the tax ID is usually spot on.
Okay, so there's a couple of things you guys are going to see. A lot of people ask this question. If you guys haven't known the Gator tribe has taken over the last 45 days or so. A lot of people are going to be asking, is this the same contract we're giving out in Gator lending? And the answer to that is yes. There is a stipulation or a couple of stipulations added in this contract that protect your earnest money, even in a state like California, Texas, Utah, etc., that releases the seller's right to hold your earnest money after or during your inspection period. Okay. There's states that stay, well, we're in California. Okay.
Mutual cancellation.
We're in California. So even though you're in an inspection period of 10 days, you have to get our permission to get your earnest money back. I have $2,000 sitting in Houston, Texas from a couple of years ago before I learned this lesson. Texas is another one of those stupid ass states that require a seller's mutual release of your earnest money, which I feel like is really counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving you earnest money during an inspection period. If I don't like what I see during my inspection period, I should get my earnest money back because it was during my inspection period.
Right.
In Arizona and multiple other states, that's not a problem. You just say, I'd like to cancel the contract. I don't even need to tell you the reason why I'm canceling the contract. I just don't like what I saw. Please send me my earnest money back. Unfortunately, in states like California, Utah, Texas, Florida, and a handful of other states, you have to, even if you cancel during the inspection period, you have to do what, Jamil?
You have to get seller to agree to sign off. It is what you're trying to accomplish is get a unilateral cancellation, but you need mutual consent in those states. And so both seller and buyer have to sign. And let me tell you, that can turn into a nightmare.
What if they don't give you your earnest money back? They can't sell it?
No, here's what they do. They refuse to sign
the
release of the inspection period, release of the EMD.
Yep.
And so you literally, your money just sits at title.
But they can still, they can
go and resell it. They're just holding money hostage.
I just had a deal. This is why we added this. This is something I ran into in Utah. I had a deal in Utah that I was in contract. We were closing escrow a week or so later. The seller decides, I want to change this whole entire thing. They started getting really crazy. Luckily, it was during our inspection period. I go, it was a seller finance deal. So this seller started getting crazy. Do I want to deal with a crazy seller in a seller finance situation? No, because they're going to be my bank for the next 30 years.
Yep.
So I go, fine, let's cancel. I don't care. She goes off to sell the property to somebody else at, a higher price. I'm so grateful I didn't have to deal with her anymore. And I went to the title company and said, please send me my $5,000 earnest money back. What happened?
No.
Okay, no problem. Let us get the seller's permission, and then we'll send that $5,000. Oh, what do you mean seller's permission? It's during the inspection period. We both mutually canceled the contract. Yeah, we know you both mutually canceled the contract, but you have to sign. The seller has to sign, and you have to sign on the release of the earnest money. Wait, what?
Is this why people in those states only use like $10 for earnest money?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. That's how you get around that.
That's how you get around that a lot of times. But what happens when a seller now, especially nowadays, where a lot of wholesalers are competing with each other and they say, I'll give you $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 earnest money in other states. Okay. The way you do that is you have the seller sign off on their release of their earnest money in the purchase contract.
Yep.
Okay. So we wrote that into the purchase contract. We will get to that in just a second. But yes, to answer that question once and for all, please, guys, everybody in the comments, help me out, because somebody else is going to ask the same question in 7 minutes. When they get off work, they're going to say, is this the contract that allows for the release of the earnest money, even if the seller changes their mind? The answer is yes. It is the Gator contract. It is a cash wholesale contract. Okay. It also, a couple of things I really like about this. Here's your earnest money, or the deposit. Jamil, what would you say is the average earnest money that you're seeing?
$2,000.
$2,000. Okay. So $2,000. Purchase price. There it is. Close of escrow. That's super important. Escrow agent. This is very common that a wholesaler doesn't fill this portion out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why. Why would you say that is, Brent?
Well, if it's your first deal, you're not really sure where you're going to take it. You can put in there TBD by buyer within 24 hours of acceptance. Yeah, most of the time they just don't know exactly who they want to bring it to or what to do next. They're just out there taking action, which is great. But just make sure that you have somebody that is a really good escrow officer. A really good escrow officer or closing attorney, it is literally like somebody on your, it makes or break your business.
Is it maybe a good idea to squat up in the comments and find a good title and escrow company that could help you in your local state?
1,000%. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's absolutely critical that you have somebody that has done a lot of these deals, has navigated a lot of waters, and can really take the ball and run with your seller, because those sellers, remember, it took us forever to get them, right?
Yep.
We talked to these people, even with some agents, you know, where they're sending us these deals and we still have to talk to the property owner, still work this out. And then all of a sudden they ghost us for like 65 days. And we're like, what happened to this person? And then they're like, finally, oh yeah, I'm going to sell. And then you get it under contract, and then they don't fill out the identity statement from the title company,
right?
You know what I mean? Which holds everything up. So if you have a really good escrow officer or closing attorney, they're going to get in, they're going to sink their teeth into that transaction. They're going to make sure that they over communicate and get all the ducks in a row so that you can close smoothly. Because listen, that's their job. Your job is not to do title and escrow. Your job's not to, find out what liens are on the property or whatever else. That is the title companies. Our job is to find discounted property and sell it to incredible investors.
So Jamil, how are people going to get a copy of this contract that probably has cost in excess of $10,000 of multiple revisions over the course of about 2 years? How are they going to get a copy of this $10,000 nugget?
We will email it. We will email it out to the registrants of the Secret Agent Challenge.
Awesome.
Only the registrants.
Love it. Love it. Okay, cool. So parties, what does parties mean? Okay, you got the seller and the buyer. I can tell you this is a little problematic. This was an issue that the attorney had. He's like, man, I asked him to get this contract down to a 3-page contract.
Can you show the contract just so that
I'm sorry. I thought I was. I'm very sorry. So my attorney at one point had multiple lines for the seller. So the husband's name, the wife's name. Sometimes you have sellers that are 5, 6, 7 people on one contract. So that's why he added this blank page at the end if you need to add additional things. Okay. But we wanted to keep this contract very simple. We wanted to be smaller than 3 pages or right at 3 pages so people were not intimidated. And guys, as you can see, the first page, there's really nothing intense about this contract. It's property address. It's earnest money. Purchase price, close of escrow, who's going to handle the paperwork, the buyer, the seller, the inspection period. What would you guys say is the average inspection period you're seeing on a cash transaction?
10 days.
Yep.
Okay, 10 days. In Florida, the standard is 14 days for some, 15 days for some reason. It's standard. Their state is standard 15 days. Closing amounts to be paid as follows. Now, this is an interesting thing for me. This is a weird thing that I've always done. As I've always added this in here. So escrow fees and cost, 50% by the buyer, 50% by the seller, 100% by the buyer or by the seller. I leave this in here as a negotiating strategy for myself with my sellers. Who always pays the escrow fees in a cash transaction?
Buyer.
The buyer. But I don't just put that in the contract and I don't just assume it. I actually utilize this as a point of negotiating.
It's
Where I
great.
say, guys,
It's
most
great.
of the time, our
Yep.
sellers are paying their closing costs on their own. And when I got a decent price on the property, I will split the closing costs. What would you like to do today? Okay. And I utilize this as a way. I already know I'm going to give them that nugget so they feel super special. Like, wow, he's paying the closing costs. Okay. I leave that in there so that there is a point of conversation to talk about. Okay. Personal property be included in the sale includes all items attached or affixed to the property. Okay, great. So on page 1, all you're doing is filling out the basics of the contract. This is the ingredients list of the whole contract right here on page 1. Not a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. And only one place to have the buyer and seller initial. Okay. Now, a couple of things I really want you guys to see right here. Number 4 is very important. Inspection of and access to the property. Jamil, how damn important is inspection and access to a property when you're trying to wholesale something?
It is what will allow you to sell your deal versus not. Okay. For instance, Pace and I are in contract, actually no longer in contract. We own a property in here in Phoenix. ARV on this property, $400K.
Yeah.
We get under contract at $210.
Okay.
Okay.
Love it.
How easy should that have been to sell at $230?
Oh, in your sleep.
In our sleep.
Yeah.
And you know why we couldn't?
No access.
No access. No access, no pictures. So without pictures, without pictures and without access, guys, it is impossible. It doesn't matter how good the deal is because the boogeyman could be in the house. And that's what the problem is for the buyers, is that they don't understand what the unknowns are. And if they don't understand the unknowns, it could be $100,000 in unknowns.
Yep.
You know, and so you really, really need to get access. You really need pictures in order for a deal to go.
What about giving your cash buyers the actual address?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how many messages?
I get this question a lot.
I delete them. I block them. I say, who taught you this? Who on YouTube taught you this stupid practice?
I had somebody ask if they should have their buyers sign an NDA before they send over an address.
Jamil, is that where does that come from?
I think just really, really old content on YouTube. I think those individuals that taught from a scarcity perspective.
That was really taught?
Don't
put the address out?
Yeah, don't share people with your address. They're going to go behind you. They're going to go knock on your doors. They're going to go steal your sellers. There is a lot of content out there from people that have extremely narrow mindsets. And so what ends up happening is they transfer that fear-based mentality to the people that are listening to them. Right. And then the poor individuals who are trying to just get started, they learn on the wrong foot because they're coming at it from the place of, oh my God, everybody's out to get me. Oh my God, everyone's going to screw me. Oh my God.
I feel like this is also people that haven't ever had a conversation with their buyers list.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
All of a sudden we're getting emails from stuff that we never signed up for.
Right.
And that's fine. I get it. But if you're not going to vet out and really understand who you're selling your deals to or sending your deals to, it can be scary.
Yeah.
And that's the point of actually building it by knowing what they're looking for.
Right. And creating relationships with the people that you work with.
Right. Yep.
All right. So here we go. We've got inspection and access to the property. So pay attention to this, guys. Buyer, in the buyer's sole and absolute discretion, may through written notice to the seller. You can do this through email, by the way. It can't be done through text. It has to be done through email, something that's trackable. Cancel this contract during the inspection period set forth in section 1.10 right here, right? We already talked about that right here. Now, this is the best part about it. And obtain a return of deposit and any other items or things of value given by the buyer to the seller. Do you know how many times I've maybe paid for a deposit or done something up front to a seller and the deal didn't end up working out? It's kind of nice to just throw that in there, okay? Now, this is the important part. From the effective date through close of escrow, Jamil's going to really like this one. The seller shall provide access to the property to the buyer and will make the property reasonably available to the buyer and to the buyer's assignees, prospective assignees, Agents, representatives, inspectors, and authorized individuals to conduct inspections and walkthroughs of the property.
It's
You like the way that's written?
It's great.
That's so
It's great.
good.
Are you gonna have to change your pants after reading that? That get you excited?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, here's
Well, listen, I mean, that question comes up a lot, right? I mean, how do we explain to the seller what we're doing? You know, how do we explain to the seller that we're wholesaling? How do we explain to the seller that we might not be buying it, or we haven't made the decision on what the exit strategy is? It's right there.
Right.
You're saying it right there. Do you have in there that you have the ability to market the property, Pace?
we're getting to it. That's the juicy part.
All right.
We got actually this next one is probably the most juicy for me, especially with what's going on with Gator lending lately, and also my recent interaction with other states and their bullcrap earnest money stuff. Instruction to release the deposit upon cancellation during the inspection period. Seller hereby irrevocably entrusts the escrow agent to return the deposit to the buyer or to any person or entity designated by the buyer, that would be a Gator lender, to receive the deposit. If the buyer elects to cancel this contract during the inspection period and no further written instructions are required for the escrow agent to release the deposit to the buyer or any person or entity designated by the buyer to receive the deposit, seller hereby waives any rights under state or other law to object to the release of the deposit in this contract is canceled by the buyer, if canceled by the buyer during the inspection period, and waives any right to provide any additional written consent to the release of the deposit of this contract if canceled by the buyer. That's a good one. That will save you guys so much time and energy when you guys are saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my earnest money. If you guys use this contract, you will never worry about the mutual release of a seller and a buyer on your earnest money ever again. Yes, Bobby Canode says, is this the A-B contract? Yes, it is. This is the A to B contract. What does that mean, TTP? What is A to B contract?
That's a buyer and a seller. That's the seller and you are the buyer. The seller is the A, you're the B. This doesn't bring into the cash buyer yet, either by an assignment or if you do a B2C contract, which would be you to the seller, to the buyer.
Jamil, I think Chris Gross sneezed when we answered this question earlier. Can you re-answer this question for Chris Gross?
Yes. Anybody and everyone who signs up for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0 will receive this email to them after a random day during the challenge. I won't tell you what day. Can you please
have Emily repost the link, or Bobby, can you repost the link in the side chat so people can have it fresh to death?
Absolutely.
We got 600 people on here today. I think we should have 600 additional people. There's already thousands of people ready to squat up in the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0. And we will be giving this contract, as you guys can see, this is a dope ass contract. We haven't even gotten to some of the juicy parts. This is that juicy.
The juicy.
Okay. Are you guys liking this contract so far?
Love it.
It's great.
Okay. Got a couple more good ones. Okay. It's a shorter contract, but there are a couple of good ones. Close of escrow. Okay. Cure notice. This is good. That's a whole conversation by itself. If a party fails to comply, we won't go into that today. Okay. Here we go. This is the good stuff. Okay. Assignment. Buyer may assign this contract or any of its rights here under any person, partnership, corporation, or any entity without notice to the seller. Seller's consent to such assignment is not necessary or required. So what do you say if a seller brings that up to you? You go, well, sometimes for me, this is true. Depending on what we choose as an exit strategy, whether it's a fix and flip, an Airbnb, whatever, an addition or a long-term rental, we will assign it to the appropriate LLC. So a seller goes, oh, great. And I go, I don't know what LLC we're going to assign it to yet. So that's why I write Moving Forward Ventures and or assignee, because I might assign it to somebody, to one of my other entities or one of my other partnerships. That's another way I say it, where I'm telling the truth, right? This one's a good one. You're gonna like this one. Buyers.
Or you say, well, I might sell it to one of my friends that wants to do the project. You know, yeah. I have a lot of, I got
funding partners. I have funding partners. You know, all types of people that I do business with. We're not entirely certain what entity will be the one that takes this down, but we will identify that way before close of escrow.
I just want to highlight Lending Ventures for $19.99. Thank you for all you do. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that $20.
$20.
Hey.
Boom.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that tremendously. That will pay. That's a drop in the bucket, but it does help towards this $10,000 contract that we're going to give you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so here we go. Next one. Buyer's marketing of its contract interest. The buyer has the right to market its contract interest in the property in buyer's sole discretion, which may include, listen to this, because I'm a gangster. I added this to my contract, which may include, but is not limited to listing the property and buyer's contract interest in the property on any multiple listing service. The seller hereby appoints buyer as its attorney, in fact, with the full power and authority to act in the same for the execution, blah, 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 for basic for the buyer in the property on the MLS. This gives you the ability to list a wholesale contract on the MLS right there in that little paragraph. Okay.
It's a great question.
You guys see a good question? Where is it?
Yeah, this to clarify, Odell asked, is this contract direct to be used when you're direct to seller, or can you use this contract with an agent involved? So
you're the one running the secret agent challenge. Let's hear what you got to say.
100%. This contract will only work when you are going direct to seller. When you do have real estate agents involved, they are required by their state boards to use the state-approved contracts. But this is why this contract is going to be really important to have, because the language that Pace and Sean St. Clair used for the unilateral cancellation, for the right to market, all of that language you can put into the standard real estate contract that the agent will give you. And so you need this contract to have that verbiage available to you when you're making the adjustments to the realtor contract.
So let me clarify that for people. So a lot of times my students that are doing deals, actually, Jamil, you and I have a mutual student. We have a lot of mutual students, but Jonah Korchin.
Yes.
Okay? Jonah will use the language in this contract and add it as an addendum to a realtor's contract, because Jonah primarily works directly with agents. And so he'll take and add a couple of paragraphs and he'll say, no problem, I can do this, but we just need to add an addendum to these specific things. No problem whatsoever.
Yep.
Okay. So the language in here is super important. All right. Now here's another tasty. You guys ready for another tasty boy?
Oh yeah.
Have we gotten to some good ones? A good one is the right to market any contract, the right to get my earnest money, right to assign this to any and all parties, access, right? This eliminates literally every worry that a wholesaler has.
Right.
Okay. Got a couple more juicy ones. This one is one that I added a couple years ago right here. Memorandum. Okay. The memorandum of contract, it says the seller agrees that buyer may execute, acknowledge, and record a memorandum or affidavit of this contract in the official records of the recorder of the county in which the property is located. Seller's signature on any affidavit or memorandum is not required for the recording of the same. What does that mean? That means, okay, what a lot of people don't know is you are not legally allowed to file a memorandum without permission or noticing the seller that you're going to file a memorandum.
Right.
If you do file a memorandum without permission or noticing the seller, you are subject to a possible misdemeanor. So you need to get protection. So if you guys want to listen to the episode we did with Sean St. Clair about 6 months ago, type in Wholesale Hotline, Sean St. Clair, and you'll see that episode is absolutely amazing. Okay?
Do you know if anyone has been arrested yet for filing a memorandum and doing it unlawfully?
I've seen multiple people lose their real estate license and get banned from being a realtor. I've seen a lot of wholesalers get fined, and they get put on the common or the what's the word I'm looking for? Repeat offenders list.
Yeah.
With the MLS, or not the MLS. What do you call it? Armless, or what do they call it?
With the state board.
Well, it'd be this. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Department of Real
Department
Estate.
of Real Estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing here is, Pace, what I love about this contract is you're putting it all out there, right? Everybody's looking at this. Everybody, the seller can read through all of this. And what happens? I think that this is what's going through a lot of people says, well, what happens if they get mad about marketing it? What happens if they get mad about assigning it? What happens if they get mad about the earnest money release or whatever else? Listen, you can remove all of those things and still buy that property, close on it, and still make a fortune.
Right.
It's just you have to squat up with somebody that has the money to close it. Like, that's the beautiful thing about this, is not like either take it or leave it. Oh, they didn't want to allow me to put it on the MLS. Great.
Yes.
Scratch it off.
Right.
Initial it.
Right.
It's done. Boom. Oh, they didn't want to have me have open access to it whenever I wanted to, whoever. Okay. Well, then who can I bring through? Okay, you're good with these people and these people. Okay, then we'll cross out these, we'll initial it, and we'll do it that way. If it's a smoking hot deal, get the deal done. But what this is setting up is this is covering everything that could possibly get wiggly. And if they want to negotiate with you, maybe that gives you a little bit of negotiating room. Maybe they're a little bit high and say, listen, okay, if you don't want to do that, then I'm going to need you to come down on price a little bit.
Right.
You want $1,000 earnest money. Okay, well, I want this thing at $155,000. You want $165. Can we get it at $160? And I'll remove that and you get that. That sounds pretty fair, doesn't it? Right.
I mean, but the facts are, dude, how often do
Not
people
often.
even give
I
literally
want everybody that's not experienced with this to like feel very confident that you can make adjustments based on the conversations that you have.
Right.
And if it's a smoking deal, it doesn't matter.
You guys want to talk to a real live transaction coordinator who has signed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contracts with sellers? Let's ask her the question and she can answer it direct. Okay. She doesn't know the question I'm asking.
Who, Monday?
Come up on.
Yeah, I have no idea. What did you ask?
Hi.
How many times does a seller ask questions about a contract when you're signing it, or do they just sign the contract?
They just sign it. I wish they would ask questions. I'm like, please ask me a question. Like, just give me a nod that you understand. I always, when I set it out, I say, do you want me to hit the high points or do you want me to read it line by line? And they're like, I don't care. Just tell me where to initial. And I'm like, no, let me at least hit the high points.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think going through it also gives you the opportunity to get any questions answered in their mind that they're not saying right away. So you can go through it all. If they're like, no, let's just get this thing done. Some people are like that. Some people are just like, send it to me, boom, they sign it. Or you're sitting right there, they sign it when you're done. And you know, you're trying to go through it and they're like, no, let's just get this done and wrapped up. I got to go to dinner or whatever. You're like, well,
oh, that dude, I've been in more buy appointments than most people on the planet. And that is literally how most contracts go. It's like, okay,
Exactly.
that's why all the agreement language is on page 1. It's like purchase price, address, close of escrow, earnest money, who's doing the paperwork, initial, and then everything else to them is like, I don't care. Okay.
Right.
But there are lines. So if you guys want, we could do another episode where I could walk through the lines and how I actually pitch each paragraph, because there are ways that I pitch each paragraph and position them properly. A couple of things right here. Great questions, by the way. A couple of really great questions. Randy Evans says, how would you notify the seller that you're filing a memorandum? Well, Randy, you are notifying them in the contract, my brother.
Yes.
Right here. Seller agrees that the buyer may execute, acknowledge, and record a memorandum. I just notified them. Let's say that again. The seller agrees that the buyer may execute, acknowledge, and record a memorandum or affidavit. I have just notified them in the contract. Okay. Great question. Really great question. Another one is, this one's going to be dope, by the way. Secret agent challenge, guys. So many people ask the question of how do I get my hands on this contract? I'm seeing it again right here in their comments like 4 different times. Where can I get these? Jamil, where in the F can I get this contract?
You will be emailed this contract after you register for the Secret Agent Challenge on one of the days. I don't know what day we'll send it to you. It could be after day 1, could be after the last day. We'll decide. But sign up for the Secret Agent Challenge. And guys, the Secret Agent Challenge is free. And for those of you that are asking what it is about, well, this is where we're going to teach you how to get deals from realtors, off-market deals from realtors. If you don't know how those conversations go, if you don't know how to ask, if you don't know the way to navigate getting an agent to send you a pocket listing, you will learn these skills, and we're going to do it all for free because we love you.
Steve Hall says, I have, this is one of my most common compliments. Pace has the patience of Steve Jobs. I get this all the time. Oh, no, he said Job. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm very biblical today.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all the big juicy parts. Let's push this back up here. Those are all the big juicy parts. Okay.
Amazing.
It also talks about this contract may be executed by electronic means, because there are some states that will say, well, you can't do this unless it's signed in with a pen.
Ink.
But this contract
Wet
actually gets
signatures.
rid of that. Okay.
Yep.
This is the beautiful thing about contracts. The more time you spend with attorneys and you learn stuff, you can take state law and negate state law as long as the seller and the buyer agree to it. It is absolutely unbelievable and super amazing. Okay. Buyer disclosures, voluntary agreement, seller acknowledge. I don't know. I never read that one. Oh, this one is basically the seller is may assign its contractual interest in the property for a profit. This one's very important. You want to tell people that you plan on making a profit. So in the state of Arizona, we now have to tell people that we may wholesale the contract. Have we done that a couple of times in this contract?
Yep.
Multiple
times. Okay. Now, there you go. It's a 3-page contract. I could have made the fonts smaller and put it all on 3 pages. But the way Sean St. Clair does stuff is he makes everything really big, which I appreciate, because it makes a lot of our older sellers happy that they don't have to like squint their eyes when they're looking for a place to sign. So I actually appreciate that he does it this way. So it's a 3-page contract with an additional page of signatures. Is this a pretty simple contract?
Can't see and need to squint when they're reading.
I mean, that's a total Jamil move, but
we got the font real big on our screen. There we go. Where do you register?
Jamil, do you see why it's so hard to get people to sign up for a challenge?
It's crazy.
It's in the comments.
It's in the comments,
you
guys.
never know. He might be on my channel. He might be on somebody else's channel. So
a lot of times people just show, you know, we have, what I find is about 20% of our people are constantly turning over. They've got phone calls they're on, their kids, that and the other. People sneeze and they miss the link or whatever it is. Jamil, where the hell do I register for this event?
The link is in the chat right now. Bobby's going to post it right now. You can sign up.
There it is.
It's right there. It says register here, guys. It's a big long link. It doesn't look normal. It's not somebody spamming you and trying to take your social security number or anything like that. It is AirMeet, which is the software that Jamil and myself use for our challenges. It's a very good piece of software. I love it. Lewis says, is this contract ready to use? It is not ready to use. You know why? Because you have not signed up for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0 and you have not received this. And so it has not reached your inbox quite yet. I think that would be a smart move for you. Go there. And what I would do is I would tell Jamil's team, Emily or Bobby, I would say, hey guys, go to the, I don't know if you guys know this, but you don't have to wait for the challenge to start to email everybody. You can go into AirMeet right now and email everybody that's registered tonight or tomorrow morning and go, yo, as promised, here is the wholesale contract that is workable in all 50 states.
Awesome. Pace, give me some meat just real quick on the line that says you have the right to market this contract. And they're like, what does that mean? What you know what I mean? Like they're hitting you with the seller's like,
yeah,
wait
the way I used to do this, which I used to do this when I had a lack of confidence when I was brand new. I would say stuff like, well, I've got to go market this to my lenders because I'm going to go borrow money. Yep. So I got to go send photos to my lenders and I got to have permission for that. And then I realized they really don't care. And very seldom do they even bring it up. So I just started testing things out. Right. And I started saying stuff like, well, you know what? I'm actually going to partner with people. So I go out and I find partners and I've got a market for them. And then I realized they didn't care about that either.
Nope.
So then I started saying, well, you know what? Depending on how many projects I have going on around this time frame, I might take one of these projects and sell it to one of my friends. And so I need to market that to some of my friends. And they go, oh, okay. I go, don't worry, you'll get the purchase price if I end up marketing this and selling it to somebody else. Just depending on, I got to keep my crews busy, right? That's what I always say. So we go out and we get a bunch of properties, and depending on how many we get and what our pipeline looks like, I might sell a few of them off to some of my friends.
Yep. one of our strategies is we reach out to every single one in our network to see if they want to do the project. If they do, we assign it to them and they pay us a fee for that. But that doesn't affect your bottom line. You still net the same amount. Make sense?
Let's see here. I would like to see a video on how you pitch each paragraph in this contract in the future. Do you want to do a role play with me at some point? We'll role play. You're the seller, I'm the buyer, and we can go through and do the contract. We'll release it to only people that have signed up for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0. My wife says she wants to sex role play with me.
Uh-oh. Right now? Tell her we got like
she's
30 more
she's
minutes.
Breastfeeding.
Oh.
When you're registering for the challenge, guys, designation, we're trying to find out, are you an Astro student, a TTP student, a sub 2 student? That's what they're asking.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I will do a video of my wife and I role playing that contract back and forth. And I promise you, I will do this. Okay. Check this out. Jamil, I will do this for you. My wife and I will act as if we're the buyer and the seller on this contract. And we will go through and I'll give multiple ways to pitch the exact same thing. I'll turn it into a video and I will only give that to you to release to people for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0.
Boom. You heard it, guys.
Where can people sign up? And also, just because we haven't gotten to it yet, where can people get this contract?
They can only get this contract by signing up for the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0 at some point between Wednesday and the end of next week. You will be emailed the contract.
Stephen Collar says there are only 276 people watching and only 76 likes. Fix this, people. Well, Stephen, I appreciate that tremendously. We actually have well over 600 live viewers between multiple streams, but still not enough likes. So I do appreciate that tremendously. Thank you.
And it was really interesting. We got some shade from somebody that was like, "Oh, they beg for likes. They beg for likes." Yes. We beg for likes because you know what happens to the algorithm on live shows on YouTube? It exposes it to more people that are just on YouTube, which means if we catch their eye and they come into the comments section and squat up with everybody that's incredible here, that is the whole point of the show. That's the whole point of what Pace and Jamil have been touring around the whole country trying to get people to figure out that if you have more friends, you make more money. That's it. So yes, we will beg for likes so that we get more people into our world. 1,000%. Listen. It works. It helps.
There'll always be a hater, bro.
Well, yeah, I get it, but I mean that's the point. I mean the point is to have enough people. People are doing deals every week in the side comments on every live show that we do. You know what I mean? It's incredible. And it's impactful and it really works. So this is like a networking. This is like a RIA meeting every single Monday that people can get to and like really actually get some value out of a meetup where it's not just somebody, pitching on how to buy notes or whatever. I don't know.
Craig Rogers says, this is a great one. How do you maximize your availability when working a 9-to-5 job? Jamil, Brent, what do you guys have to say about that?
Well, maximizing your availability, I don't know if that's what you're really wanting to go after, Craig. Do you want to maximize your productivity or your availability, right? Because first and foremost, we're all available all the time. You've got a cell phone, you've got text messaging, you've got email, you've got phone calls. You will always be available, whether it be they catch your voicemail, they send you an SMS, whatever that is, you can be available. I've got a high school student who was doing deals, astro flipping deals from the bathroom from his high school.
Yep.
Okay. Like this is availability isn't the issue. Productivity is the issue, right?
Yeah.
So how do you maximize your productivity? This has been something that I think all of us are really trying to hone in on. And my personal belief is focus, concentrated bursts of effort.
That's it.
Right? Sit down, do an hour of work, turn your phone on, like take your all other messages that could be coming and distracting you, turn those off. Anything else that could be distracting you, turn it off. Make sure you use the restroom before you start. Make sure you get a snack and eat a snack before you start. But doing focused, concentrated bursts of work in an hour at a time will maximize the amount that you're able to accomplish in a workday. Brittany Berriman works a 9-to-5 job.
Yep.
and does basically 2 hours of focused, concentrated work and runs a $500,000 wholesale business.
50% of my students that join TTP mentorship, they are 9 to 5, and they find the time either after work or on the weekends, and they have a conversation with the whole family and everybody that's around, and they say, listen, during these times, this is when I'm going to be working on building my business. This is where I'm going to really work on replacing my income so that I can have more time and more freedom to be able to do this business and to have more time for everybody. So if you guys really support me now, I think that we can really make something special happen here. And it needs to be sacred time. It needs to be time that you can totally commit and not get distracted. That's why you have to have everything set up. This is the key. You have to have everything set up. If you're going to call agents, have your list of agents ready. Have it in the dialer or have it printed out or however you're going to do it. If you're going to text them, have it ready. If you're going to call just ugly on owners of ugly houses, just have it ready so that when you are off, you press go and you're starting right away. That is the absolute key. Because if you mess around and you're playing with all the different things, it's going to be tough to really build up the momentum that you need to start replacing your income with this business.
Derek Barton, welcome to Wholesale Hotline. Back in the day, we used to have people call us randomly on our cell phones. We're going to bring that back for about 20, 30 minutes. Derek, how you doing, dog?
I'm great, bro. How are you?
I'm great. I know you're just starting this journey in real estate, which is super special, and you're taking massive action. What question do you have for us today on Wholesale Hotline?
I don't have a question.
Derek, here's a question for us. Because you're in a lot of lives with me.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to tell people to sign up for a link to go to a challenge? Do you see how often that has to be done?
It's probably once every 5 minutes.
Okay, so what advice do you have to give to people while you're up here on the stage?
I guess be prepared, and I'm not prepared. I just clicked the link, bro.
Derek Barton, congratulations. Derek Barton came on the live. Guys, I popped some people back in the side chat. Rob, Pierre, Shane, Malcolm, and a couple of other people. If you guys have some live questions, we'd love to hear your voice and see your face. Come on up here, but do not come in the backstage unless you are prepared to look unprepared. Okay. Shane, Malcolm, you have a question for the Wholesale Hotline trio.
Hey, what's happening with you guys, man? Is my mic on right now?
Yeah, we can hear you. You sound great.
What's happening, Jamil?
We hear you, bro.
Baby, what's happening? Shane back in this thing. Oh, my wife's back over here. But basically, I have one question real fast. I have this seller partnering up with this guy, and I have this. He has a listing agent that's with it, and we're trying to pitch seller finance to them. And I got stuck on one thing that I was trying to clarify that I watched a Jerry Norton video, one of Pace's videos for. When making sure that I involve the agent in getting paid on a seller finance ordeal of them pitching it for me, do I make sure that we figure out whatever their percentage of the cut is of the purchase price and just make sure that cash is brought to the table?
That is correct. 100% of the time, you always want to tell the seller or the agent, we will take care of your commissions out of our purchase price and part of our down payment. Okay. Now, here's where it's different, and this is where I'll tell a different story. Okay, I'm going to put you on mute for a second so we don't hear the. My house is just the same way, so I'm not criticizing you at all. So here's where it is different. When I'm calling an agent who's had a 6-month listing that has not sold the property, I do not offer to pay that agent full commission. I just don't. They haven't been able to sell the house. I tell them I'm going to pay them a finder's fee, usually of about $2,500. My last home I lived in, I paid the agent $2,500. Okay. But 99% of the time, you're going to tell the agent, hey, we will take care of your commission as part of our down payment in this seller finance transaction. And now what are you doing, Shane? I'm going to assume, Shane, I'm going to assume you're planning on assigning the seller finance deal to somebody else. Is that correct?
That was going to be the second option. At first, we were going to try to find some our own type of like gap funding for it.
Okay, so
Gator in there or something.
ironic that you should bring this up because Robert Peer, I don't know if he has his camera on today, but Robert Peer actually is a lender and made a comment in the side chat earlier that I was paying attention to, but you weren't, Shane. And he said, "Hey, I'm Robert Peer and I'm looking for a place to lend some freaking money." So have you been trying to squat up enough today, Shane?
Not a lot. I just put together a bed frame for my son in his room. But
all right, Shane, you know what to do. You go reach out to Robert Peer. Thank you for the question on Wholesale Hotline. Thank you.
I think that's great. And I think that, I think you hit a really important point that I just want to highlight, Pace, is offer them a flat fee as opposed to a percentage. You know what I'm saying? They might go for like 500 or 1,000 as opposed to 3%, right? Because there's not a lot of, they're not going to be doing a lot on the back end. And if you're in a position where you need that income and you can make a good amount on assigning and sign that deal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Marlana, how you doing?
Marlana.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have a question for us today, or did I just catch you by surprise?
Both.
Okay, good. Give us the question. I saw you making some great comments today on the show. So what do you got for us?
So I'm all new to this, actually. I've actually seen Jamal for quite some time now over the course of like 6 months, looking at his astro flipping and stuff like that. My question is like, how is wholesaling in Washington State? Because I've contacted like the general, I get the head honchos of like attorneys, and they're basically telling me just don't act like a real estate agent because you don't have a license. I'm like, I know, but I need to know what's the legal way of wholesaling in Washington State.
Marlana, did you know I'm doing a challenge in Tacoma, Washington, just south of probably where you're at? Where do you live?
I live in Everett, which is 30 minutes away from Seattle. So it's on the other side.
Okay, you're on the other side. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm moving my family to Tacoma, Washington. On August 1st to September 1st, I'm doing a live challenge where my wife, the one that was joking about foreplay a little bit earlier, and my children are going to move to Tacoma, Washington to show you guys how to wholesale in a really horribly ran Democratic state. Sorry.
No, you're good. I agree with you.
As far as real estate is concerned, it is really challenging to hold properties in the Washington state.
Yeah.
We are going to show you how to do that. But Jamil, do you think it's any different of wholesaling in Washington versus maybe like, I don't know, Arizona? Is there something I do different?
No. So what the attorney was trying to explain here was to ensure that Marlena was not acting as an agent. So how you do that is by being the principal in the deal. Marlena, here's the problem. If you have a seller, okay, and there is a buyer, and you try to connect them and say, hey guys, know each other, meet each other, and pay me, that's acting as a realtor because you're connecting the relationship. You're saying, hey guys, hey seller, hey buyer, meet each other, seller, sell this house to this buyer. Buyer, when you buy this house, give me a fee.
That's called brokering?
That's called brokering. You're actually connecting a seller and a buyer together and trying to be paid from it. That's not wholesaling, okay? Wholesaling is when you personally identify the opportunity. You identify the property. You then put that property under contract. And then you sell your rights to that contract to somebody for a fee. That's wholesaling. That is not connecting a buyer and a seller because you were the first buyer. Then you sold your interest in that contract to another buyer. So that is not brokering. So what the attorney was trying to establish with you is that you need to be the principal in the deal. If you are the principal in the deal and then you sell your rights to be the principal in the deal to somebody else, that's successful wholesaling, and you can do that as much as you want, and you can make millions of dollars doing that.
Do you think that it would be a good idea for Marlana to get the contract we just went over?
Absolutely.
I already Before anyone says it, I already signed up. I already signed up.
There we go.
After the link was like distributed the third time. But yeah.
I have a question for you because
Yeah.
this is Wholesale Hotline and I haven't asked a question of anybody lately. Why did it take you till the third time the link was posted?
Because I didn't know what I was trying to put in for the designation part. So I put to get away from my 8 to 5. So
Interesting.
I don't know. I've been thinking about wholesaling since I heard about it a year ago. And I'm seeing a lot of distressed properties a lot more. I live in the Everett area. So and the way Jamal, I'm sorry.
I mean, he's cooler when he's Jamal, but his name is Jamil. He actually does have an alter ego.
When I listen to Tupac for
he becomes
too long, I'm Jamal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm just Jamal.
The way you describe it, I was literally going to do that because I skip traced a property I saw by DoorDashing. I do DoorDash, and I saw a distressed property. I was like, okay, and I took the address down. I had my kids in the car, went back, skip traced it, and exactly how you just described it, I was going to do exactly that. So had I not been on this call, I probably would have been illegally selling. Jesus.
Yes, you cannot just connect two people and say, pay me, unless you were a licensed agent. And again, here's the other thing, right? This is where a lot of people get it wrong, is let's just say, for instance, you don't have a deal under contract, but you know a wholesaler, and a wholesaler gets a deal under contract. And you happen to meet a buyer that might want to buy that deal. Unless you have some form of contractual equitable interest, you can't even send that opportunity to a buyer to look at. You can't. That people do, and that is highly illegal. Okay, in order to do that legally, you need some form of written permission to send that opportunity to somebody. And that's why we teach people about contracts. That's why we teach people about the A to B contract. That's why we teach people about the option contract. The option contract gives you the right to share somebody else's contract with another person in hopes of selling it. So that all the things that we're teaching you here are above board and legal and allow you to actually make money without having to worry about compliance, because again, you're always acting as the principal in those deals.
And Pace did a great Sunday service where he literally just Googled hard money lenders in town. And I think if you go and you call 3 of them and get an offer letter from them or a letter of credit from all of them, they'll let you know that they are gonna be your cash for 70 to 80 to 90 to 100% of the purchase price, depending on the property. So now you have confidence knowing that you're not going to that seller going, hey, I'm a buyer, when you don't have the money to buy it. Right? That's why it's so critical to make those calls to a hard money lender. Now you got 70, 80, 90, 100% of that, and you're confident in that and being able to purchase that. But then if you need to get the rest of it, then you squat up with somebody around, somebody that's in the comments, somebody that's doing business in your marketplace, and say, hey, listen, if I find a smoking hot deal, will you be my down payment and JV with me and walk me through the first couple of them? And now you have all that confidence knowing that you're a cash buyer. The big problem is we go out there and we go, well, I'm telling them I'm a buyer, but I have no way to close this. It's 2 phone calls. It's 3 phone calls to be able to have the money to be able to buy any property that you want. Got it?
Awesome.
Marlana, did you get some value from these handsome boys?
I did. And I'm really glad I was putting the notification on YouTube to watch this. So I'm going to do everything wrong. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, don't be like Marlana, be awesome, but don't be like Marlana and take 3 times to click the link to go to the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0. It sounds like people are being challenged with some sort of designation, Jamil. What is this designation?
Yeah, I don't know, Bobby and Emily, why that is necessary to click a designation, but can we remove that?
You know, I learned something from Jamil not too long ago.
Friction, guys.
Called
Friction.
friction.
Yes.
Stop giving people friction. They need coconut oil. You know what I'm saying? Coconut
the more
oil.
questions, the more steps we put in people's way, the too many clicks, they get off.
Depends on who wants it, though.
And you know how many hundreds of
Depends on
messages
who
I've
wants.
gotten
I
over
understand
the
why I
weekend.
did it.
Yeah. But
Jamil, I'm also going to teach you. I'm going to teach you one more thing.
Getting stuck there.
Yeah.
Jamil, here's another reason why your people are having a hard time right here.
Yep.
They can't paste it because the link is too long. So what you need to do is go to Linktree or Shorby, and you need to shorten the link to something easier. Should we do that right now for everybody?
Would love to.
Okay,
Yeah,
you got.
sure.
I'm gonna. Here we go. Sebastian.
Bobby's on it.
Sebastian.
What's up, man?
What up, guys? Sorry, I had dental surgery today. Hurts.
No
Oh,
problem.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
Thank you
hear
for
that, man.
joining
Your reception's really bad, man. You got a question for us?
I just want to ask, not really ask, but appreciate you guys. I was able to close on a deal while I was getting my root canal done.
Come on.
$75,000. I was sedated completely, and this notification came through. Signed contract, baby.
$75,000. Ring that bell.
In the middle of surgery.
Yeah. So it wasn't that terrible. And
How'd you find that deal, Sebastian?
I'm here in Mexico just chilling.
What? Where was the deal at?
This was in Katy, Texas. It was
I love Katy, Texas. Jamil and I bought boots there one time.
An ugly house, and we were able to just get him. You know, we like the ugly ones.
Did you call him? Did you text him? How'd you find him?
Oh, I've been working this deal for a year. Matter of fact, you, Brent, we were on a live call like a year ago, and you helped me with some advice. I'm like, I'm gonna go see this guy because I gotta thank him.
I love it. Well, congratulations. 75,000.
Incredible.
75,000. He's kicking in Mexico getting dental surgery.
Give this man a bell ring. Sebastian, great job, bro. Great job. We're super proud of you.
That is awesome.
We got 12 people in the back studio, and this is the way Wholesale Hotline used to be, guys. It's just crazy sporadic. I love it. It's great.
Guys, let us know if you like this. I've been playing around with this as well, Pace, on the live show on Wednesday that I do, and I'd be interested to see if people like this format. It seems like
they do, man. We do it on Sunday service. I went 3.5 hours a couple weeks ago on Sunday service, just cranking out questions. People do love it. I want to hear their voice. I want to hear the spirit behind the question.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, it's good seeing Sebastian. We talked a year ago, and now it's 75. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Okay, let's get a couple more. We got 8 minutes left, so we're going to do probably 2 more questions. Isaiah.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
What up?
Yes, we can. Isaiah, I'm going to tell you why I picked on you. Okay.
Lay it on me.
Because there's a few people in the back of the studio that actually have their video turned on. So guys, if you want to come on the stage and ask a question, you better damn well have your video turned on. Okay. Because I don't know if I bring you up on here, I don't know if your audio's working, your videos, you know what I'm saying? So Isaiah, good job, bro. What question do you got for us tonight?
Well, hey, it's good to see all of you guys again. I've met all of you guys in person before. I'm not sure if you remember, but
we remember. We always remember.
I appreciate that. Jamil, I remember you were talking about your guy Jonah. I think I might have listened to the podcast episode with him, Jonah, out in the Bay Area. You guys were talking about like something about an addendum, or where that because he does your astro flipping where he works with agents. I guess I was just kind of asking, like, how exactly does he go about it? Because, my market, I'm in Southern California. And so I tried doing text blasting and all that. It was pretty crazy. So now I'm kind of doing the agent route. And so I was just wondering, if the agents are obviously going to use their state approved contract. So how do I go about using, this additional contract? By the way, I did sign up for the Air Meet Wednesday at 8 a.m. So how do I go about being able to use that in addition to the state approved contract?
So you would just put it in whatever terms you want to add, you would put them into additional terms, right? And so, for instance, there is the unilateral cancellation. I would put that verbiage into the additional terms section of the contract. I would also put in the disclosure that you are buying with the intent to make a profit. I would put that into the additional terms. I would also put in the access and the inspection additional term. And if you plan to file a memorandum, I would put that verbiage in there as well. So those are just sentences that you would tell the agent, hey, please add these additional terms into the contract. And there's a section in every state-approved real estate contract that agents use. There's a section at the end of the contract that says additional terms and conditions. That's where they would put those sentences in.
Awesome.
Isaiah, also, are you getting these deals? Are they listed when you're working with an agent? Are they listed on the MLS, or are these going to be off market that the agent brings to you personally?
No, ideally off market, because once something hits the market over here, I mean, people are always bidding above like the list price, even if it's distressed. Like, so I'm like emphasizing to get them to me before it's on market.
So I would go over those terms, everything that Jamil just said with your agent, and just make sure that they understand why you have it in there, and make them understand that if they're comfortable presenting that to whoever these off market sellers are, because maybe the seller gets a little bit weird by it, and you can remove that and just close on the deal and get it done either way. So be flexible with it, right? Make sure that the agent knows the verbiage going in. If they feel like the seller's getting wiggly, just give them the permission to remove those and find a way to close it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I got your drift.
All right, cool.
And I guess one other thing, I was, rolling through the agents. Brent, I saw your video on how to look for investor-friendly agents on Zillow, and I started punching through that. And I met one guy who followed up with me. He was asking me to sign not a buyer's agreement. Basically,
a buyer-broker agreement.
He's the team lead. He's the team lead with the brokerage. He's not the owner of the brokerage.
So yesterday on my Escrow call, I went through the 12 agent traps that you can get into when doing agent outreach. Okay, these are the 12. I'm going to really quickly read them out. The first trap, you get set up on a drip campaign. The second trap, they send you other wholesalers deals. The third trap, they ask you to list the property with them in the future if they bring you the opportunity.
Love it.
The fourth trap, they are uncomfortable with dual agency. The fifth one, inserting your own buyer's agent to create friction in the deal. Seventh, an agent making you use their title company. 8, asking you to see the property in person before actually signing the contract. 9, how to get a proof of funds. 10, contract that's unassignable. 11, the mutual cancellation clause. And 12, the cancellation guilt trip. The buyer broker agreement is in there. That's number 6. I will go over all of those traps over the Secret Agent Challenge because there's too much in that list to go over right now.
But there's no way that we can sign up for that, right? That's you can't sign up for that, right?
No, I've shut it down now because nobody knows how to choose their designation.
Well, now they will. Tell them they're type in anything. Blah 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 is how you type your designation.
TTP. There you go.
TTP.
Or Astro or sub 2. It doesn't matter.
Just choose something. Pick a thing. Gosh.
Well, Jamil, here's the one thing though.
Yes.
I mean, granted, obviously, I know he's an agent, and his end goal is to earn my business. But he emphasized like, oh, you could always cancel. You could always cancel.
No. How it works? What you would say is, my friend, I appreciate you wanting to have an exclusive relationship with me so much because it shows how dedicated you are to doing business with me.
Yep.
Here's the issue. I do such a large volume of transactions that I have relationships with hundreds of real estate agents, and it would be unfair to all of the agents that I've done work with in the past and will do work with in the future to sign an exclusive buyer broker agreement with you. But here's what I will do. Make this buyer broker agreement property specific, and I'm happy to sign it.
Property specific. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember hearing about that as well. Property specific. Yeah.
Isaiah, good to see you, brother.
Always good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you.
Hey, there was somebody in the side chat that asked about, are Brent Daniels' arms fake?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I can tell you they're real. I've touched them, which brings me to my second question. How are your nuts?
A lot better, guys. I know everybody's been wondering, but it's a lot better. You know.
Yeah, you feeling
The
good?
human
Did you go
body's
get
an
a
amazing
jock
thing.
strap 2 sizes too small?
You know, I'm not full Jerry Norton, but you know, maybe if I have to. Whatever
you
it
took care
takes,
of
Pace.
business.
Whatever
I
it
love it.
takes.
So, what is the theme of this show, guys? Is I would say secret agent challenge. I want to just remind everybody, Mr. Daniel Quijano himself. Okay, he will be on the super secret agent challenge 2.0. He's going to be teaching you guys. Daniel Quijano actually runs what we call the nightly dial in sub 2. A lot of people know Mr. Quijano. He contended incredibly well in the Closers Olympics. He runs the nightly dial in our mentorship, which means he gets all the new students in sub 2 all on the phone with sellers. Leads that I generate for the community. Dan Quijano trains them on how to talk to sellers every single night for 4 hours, Monday through Friday. So he's a killer. And he's going to be on the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0. Jamil, how can people sign up for that before we wrap up?
They can sign up using the short link that we have now created for those people that found the first link too long. It is right there. You can sign up, guys. The registration will end tonight.
Andre Wright says, didn't the challenge begin today?
Starts
yes.
on Wednesday.
The challenge started today, and the challenge was getting people to click on the link and have no friction. But don't worry, it's less challenging starting Wednesday morning when we actually talk to agents and do outreach. It's going to be dope.
Yep.
Mr. Brent Daniels, what are you doing this week? What do we got going on? Tell me
Wednesday,
what you are
how
pushing.
to make sure a seller doesn't back out of the deal once you get it locked up. I think that there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of mystery behind this. There's nothing that makes you more crestfallen than when you lock up your first deal and you feel like the seller is slipping away from you. So make sure you join us on Ugly Houses Big Checks every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to have a good time. We go 2 hours. It's going to be a phenomenal show. We have Todd Toback popping in to give us some of his wisdom. He's been doing wholesale longer than most people that I know, and a incredible mentor of mine. So do not miss it. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Brent Daniels YouTube channel.
All right, guys, here's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be flying to Denver. I'll be speaking at Tim Brott's legacy event, multifamily. Jamil and I are closing on a pretty dope-ass multifamily 53 unit in Class A area, which is cool. That's exciting. And then I'll be speaking here local in Arizona at Kenny McElroy's event with Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets. Should be a good week. But more importantly, every single morning, I will be where, Jamil?
Every single morning when?
Starting Wednesday.
You will be at the Secret Agent Challenge.
And how do I sign up for that?
The link in the chat.
All right, guys, we appreciate you tremendously. I will be releasing the contract to everybody in the super duper secret agent challenge 2.0. Okay. And then my wife and I'm not joking. I am going to do this. We are going to do a role play of how to talk through that contract. And I will only give that video to you to give over to your people in that challenge. So guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We will see you guys next week on Wholesale Hotline. Which number? Wholesale Hotline number what?
122.
122. Thank you guys. Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.